Making a game on the scale of Halo takes hundreds of people with different skills, a singular vision, and time. Lots of time. But before a game reaches store shelves, the team must create thousands of assets that are tracked in 2-week deadlines we call sprints. 343 Industries invites you to join us on our journey, creating Halo 5 Guardians from the ground up. One painting, sound, and line of code at a time. This is the sprint.
So, you guys will be in sniper rifle. We have these 5 kits, so we'll set you down and each one of you can kind of make it your own home for the next week. You are the first people outside of like our internal like multiplayer team and design guys and stuff that will actually get to use Forge. We spent a lot of time going over controls and how we handle objects and how you place objects and move them.
Say the word multi-select, by the way.
Multi-select. We kind of went through all of your guys' feedback that has like ever been posted by anyone on Forge. We spent a lot of time digging into it, but we really wanted to respond to all of the feedback because Forge for Halo 5 has been a pretty big undertaking from the Forge team. We want to just quickly run you through the tool. We're gonna kind of talk about like what we want for BTB maps, and then we're gonna go in and have you play the Forge maps we built so that we can then talk about kind of like how we did this stuff and the changes we made. And actually, Adrian just walked in. Adrian is our MP Arena level designer. Him and Quinn is the lead arena designer. They're gonna come in and they're gonna chat with you guys kind of every day, and there's just gonna be a sounding board for you guys as you work on your big team battle maps.
Any terrain editing?
We will get there. There is a lot of leeway to kind of like put your spin on it because you're gonna have to make changes and compromises to make the game feel right with our new weapon sandbox, our new player sandbox, and all of that stuff. The goal is that you guys have something that you feel really proud of, you feel like it's in a good place. I don't need it to be final. We'll make sure it's all bug fixed. If there are hot spots in the map where it's not 100% performant, we'll go through and we'll clean it up. We really want this to be a collaboration between you guys and the 343 team of making really cool maps that we launch shortly after we come out that the whole community gets to experience.
And the simplest way I can put it is the sandbox team is responsible for all the toys you can find and use in the game. That means all vehicles, all weapons. Each weapon has a few different settings that makes the handling a bit different. One of the biggest parts is the aim assist. So you can see the reticle turns red when I'm close or almost on him. That means that the aim assist is fully engaged and your shots are going to go toward that target. Now, if we turn on the debug stuff here, you'll see a ton of different circles here. This little cross here that you see is actually where the bullets will bend towards, where your aim is actually corrected to. And as I go over him, you'll see it actually snaps to him. It kind of gets back to the center of my actual reticle. And this other angle out here, this is the magnetism. Magnetism basically means that we slow down your turning speed when you get close to an enemy. And the reason for that is that you won't just sweep over him, it'll kind of stick. And also, when you're inside of the magnetism cone, any movement that this guy does, your reticle will try and follow him to correct. So when a guy's strafing, if you're inside of the magnetism, you get a little bit of assistance to help track him. So you have to kind of find that balance where it's helping you enough.
Maybe you don't notice that it's helping that
much.
Right.
If we do our job well, you actually don't
Yeah.
have any idea that this is going on.
Yeah, it just feels like you're that badass.
Yeah, exactly. The sandbox team is responsible for basic movements, all new Spartan ability stuff that we've added for Halo 5.
Right. So that's one of the times where we need to know how high can the Spartan jump? At what point can he clamber up?
Maybe you don't want to be able to just make the jump in while shooting. You actually want to force the player to commit the time to actually do the clamber, so when he comes up here, he can't actually do it guns blazing. He has to do that little clamber
Right,
motion
you have to
get
take
in.
away your control for a second, or at least you're shooting for a second.
Yeah. So the defenders at least have a little bit of chance of like getting the first shot at you as you come in here.
Yeah.
Especially for campaign, that's super important. You want to make sure that people can't get outside of the level, things like that. If you want to have a secret somewhere, that is hard to reach, but not impossible. Yeah.
Same for vehicles too. If you have a jump that you want the player just to barely make with their Warthog, we have to know exactly how much lead-in you need for that jump, how big the jump has to be, the angle of the jump. We also want you to feel like you're barely kind of making some of these jumps. It doesn't feel too easy, it doesn't feel impossible to make the jump.
Yeah.
So that stuff ideally is logged super early before any art is touched then.
Anybody come up with a cheeky Forge name for their map yet?
Mine's kind of resisting against its predecessor, so maybe antifreeze.
Oh, I like that.
That's a winner.
It's day 4 of the cartographers being here. Adrian and I want to pop by and see if they need any help.
Yeah, I just started experimenting with the terrain, and it's like not what I'm used to yet. But
because I think right now when you're going up this ramp here, your natural kind of tendency
getting
is
a lot
just
of air.
is just to go straight, and
Right,
you're
right,
getting
right.
air. So maybe if you can naturally lead the path of the vehicle like up that ramp and then kind of curve towards this piece, I think the more kind of natural it's going to feel.
Are there any really chunky railings I can use here?
Go to the cover pieces, actually. There's some really heavy, chunky cover pieces.
So like there's the jersey kind of cover, which is,
Right.
it's solid, it's not, there's like that heavy kind
Oh,
of.
that'll look really cool. For
Yeah, it's that construction feel. It's like they look like, you know, railings that you would have on
Oh, yeah.
the side of a road.
Yeah, I like those guys.
Yeah, I think they're really cool pieces.
My goal, I hope I accomplish it, is to kind of blur the line between what a dev map is and what a Forge map is.
It's your classic Halo 2 base map, right? It's all about movement and verticality with Halo. So I'm trying to bring all that into this one map. I'll sit here and just look at how ramps connect for hours. It's challenging, but it's really fun. There's constant puzzles and trying to figure out how players are going to think and move, and you know, what's the incentive to go from this base to that structure. Players can like scale the base, right? They come up from the back, they sprint to the top. They can take this main cannon, if they jump right away, they can make that really smooth. Then they can sprint and do the pro jump. So thrust, hold, grab it, grab this, and then they can go to this really exposed area and nose bomb towards the base. And then they can also do a second pro jump to get on top of the base from back here.
Nailed it.
And really, really mess people up, right? Of course, you can move across the map, not do all those crazy jumps too. But for players that really want to take advantage of the new Spartan features and all the verticality on the map, they can find ways to get really high.
How do you watch the cinematic?
Yeah.
Yeah, that's incredible.
That's why it's Forge.
Hey, so I've been running a lot of logistics with people. 5 o'clock, we're going to be doing a playtest in the lab. I've invited all of the bigwigs like Holmes and Chris Lee and Tim Longo. So you guys are kind of like free to like continue working on your map, kind of get it as good as you can, try and get it ready for the playtest at 5.
There's what, 11 of us, 10 of us? And after all the campaign and multiplayer stuff is done for launch, all the 3D guys, like we don't have to fix bugs because we don't actually implement anything. That's kind of a big deal, where all the 3D people who do all the modeling and texturing and art and animation have tons of bugs to fix and polish to get up to perf. And since we don't deal with that, we have a lot more bandwidth, like relatively, to work on this stuff.
It means a lot of multiplayer maps, a lot of armor suits, armor skins, and anything that'll be shipping in DLC.
As some people talked about, we're doing like this remix ideology where we use the palettes from some of the original multiplayer maps. In this case, with Mining Rig, you know, we have the original Mining Rig as kind of this oil platform that's going through the desert, and this is more of a refinery, I guess, like more of like where they would refine molten glass, molten rock, and stuff like that. So this is an example of the geometry that I got back, and we decided that this would be the angle that I would paint over because this is that defining feature that really makes it different from the original Mining Rig. And so what I do here is try to retain the geometry because they have to, you know, that's what they play tested, but still bring back the personality of the original sketch. The first things that I did were these quick little thumbnails, and I think this is the one that people kind of settled on. And then I started trying to light it and get, I keep sending it to the team through email. And as it moves through, you can see a lot of like iterative change where here, like very early on, there's like the lava waterfall established. But I kind of was losing inspiration on that, and I thought it would be more interesting to have kind of like a facility up top with large coolant tank, and kind of trying to figure out what that could look like. We ended up actually going back in the end to the lava fall again. So this goes off to game design and level design, who work together to come up with something inspired by this.
You want to give the illusion that all of this stuff has story and a purpose, and not just be like some textured themed paintball course. And that's like the real challenge, is kind of selling it as something that's unique and cool and works versus just another MP map.
Yeah, not just a collection of half walls and 45-degree ramps to jump over, but something that helps people buy into the fiction in the world.
Let's go.
I don't think you guys enjoyed the first 6 seconds. Oh, we never deleted it, did we? Well. Oh. All right, Quinn, take me out in a good way.
Heating doesn't help at all.
What is going on?
All right, we got to bring this back.
Come play arena, bro.
Or Hollick. Or Nick.
Oh, there's got a sniper. Oh boy.
What if this goes?
Oh boy. No. Oh, I got him. Oh
Oh, crap, I think I spawned outside.
Yeah, we'll go through and fix and clean those up.
We'll get those cleaned up next time, but we got the majority of them. Yeah, so that is this gentleman's map. Can you guys just give him some feedback as we get the next map round out? Like, what do you guys think for size, scale, kind of what's going on?
I wasn't sniping much. I was getting sniped, but
because Nick was playing.
Yeah, exactly. Was he playing?
Yeah.
Where is that match?
Hi, Joe.
I think it's a really great small-scale, big team battle map. It's nice to have a mixture of different levels, and I think this definitely plays to a good infantry big team battle.
After all the cartographers left, it was our task to then go in and kind of refine the maps and get them ready to ship. We're calling this map Recurve, kind of a take on Longbow. There's a path up this way that's kind of more of an infantry-focused path, and it's like the upper path as well that leads into the center structure. So the sniper rifle, put in a very central location and also in an ideal location for the sniper rifle because it has pretty nice views along both sides of the map. It's one of those things where when you go on to different maps, you want to have areas that are like instantly recognizable and are good for callouts, Currently, this spot on the map is called Top Mid, but in all of our playtests, we kind of call this area the Sniper Lounge. The Whale. That's our call out for this section. Because people don't know what the MP pit is. But if we say the Whale, they instantly know. Even though, how could you not know where Quinn is?
Should we pop one now, bro, to celebrate?
Oh. Halo 5!
So the beauty of Forge is that we're all able to take these maps and work on them. So, you know, we've had our producer, Mike Byron, take, yeah.
So easy, even Mike can use it.
Even a producer can use it.
Cheers.
Get the Xbox One limited edition bundle.